Thank you. Just open it up right here. Oh, I got it. And just open it up, just like I would any other time. Hey, good morning. My name is Robert. I'm an alcoholic. It's a real good day to be seen, not viewed, and I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I don't know. I was just asked to. We're in a meeting. All right. I was just asked to open up the meeting. I don't know exactly how the process goes, but he said just introduce the speaker. So I know how to follow directions today, so I'm just going to introduce the speaker, and our speaker today is Kenneth M.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kenneth. I'm an alcoholic. Y'all can hear me? I really don't even know why they put this up here. I really don't. You know, I really don't. I introduced myself already. I'm Kenneth. I'm an alcoholic. Today is Christmas Day. It's December the 25th. I sobered up Christmas Eve, 2004. So I have an obligation, especially around Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, to give back what was freely given to me. So they asked me to come tell a story. I'll tell y'all my story. And I generally start off at the very beginning. Susan taught me that. She said, every time you tell your story, you start at the beginning. And in the beginning is that I was born. You know what I'm saying? That's the bottom line. Yeah. Right by the railroad track. It was by the railroad track. Yeah, in New Orleans, Charity Hospital, and I lived by the railroad track. On the other side of the track. Not that other side. There's two sides of the track. You know how they used to say y'all from the wrong side of the track? Well, I was from that side. Yeah, but I was poor. Didn't know it. But real poor. You know, we had a outhouse, kerosene lamp, wooden stove. You know, we had an ice box, not a refrigerator. A real ice box. The ice man used to come in the mall. Some of y'all might remember that. And we used to buy ice. The rag man used to come for all of the clothes and whatnot. That's the way it was. Had to get water across the street. I remember the first time I went into Desire Project, and the dude hit the light switch, and the light came on. I was wondering what the heck was going on. Then when I went in the toilet and then flushed the thing and everything disappeared, I said, wow, I'm telling you. So, the thing about that, I was very smart, super intelligent. I was reading before I went to school. I had read the Bible twice before I went to school. So the first day I went to school, they was categorizing people. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. Some of y'all might remember that. According to their reading ability. However, when I got up to read, I read so well that the teacher jumped up and said, you come sit in my seat and direct this class until I get back. So I became a director at an early age. Teacher ran out the classroom and came back with the principal, Mr. Waters. I'll never forget him. Mr. Waters had a newspaper in his hand. He said, Kenneth, can you read this? I read the headline. Can you read this paragraph? I read the paragraph, ain't missed now a word. The man patted me on my head and said, brilliant, and I've been messed up ever since. Y'all understand? And I flunked first grade because I was never there. I was always playing hooky. Y'all call it truancy. I was always playing hooky. Smoking. I was smoking at 4. I was going to on school on Friday when they had a test and be the only person to make 100 on a test. They ain't studied near one of the words. And when the teacher asked a question, my hand would always go up, just like it goes up in Alcoholics Anonymous. And some people say, yeah, he's smart, think he know it all. But the real smart people used to say, Kenneth, let me copy off your paper. That's the smart ones. Yeah, they had haters even back then. But my first charge was burglary when I was 7 years old, 1959. I remember my uncle had taught me a long time ago that if somebody bigger than me start running their head at me, that means bumping their gums. That's what they call it in Houston. Punch him in his mouth when he open it. He said, you might lose the fight, but he'll never stand in front of you running his head again. So I used to do that, right? Sometimes it worked. I hit one of them big dudes, and he, oh, what you did that for? And I hit him again, wham! But some of them didn't go for that. Some of them son of a guns hit back. But people would bring me a nickel, a dime, a quarter to school and whatnot until somebody ratted and they charged me with highway robbery. Why they get that charge from, I don't know. The principal brought me into the lounge and was beating me with a strap that long, that thick, a leather strap. What y'all call child brutality right now was unheard of back then. And I didn't go home and tell my mom I caught no whipping because I was going to catch another one. I ain't done nothing. But while he was whipping me, I was looking at the school, big stacks of paper, big packs of pens all around. I was in the warehouse where they kept all the paper, pencils, and all that. And I saw all that school paper and pencils, and I told my brothers. I said, I know where all the paper at and all the pencils at. They said, where at? I said, it's in the lounge. They said, we're going to get it tonight. And we went in that school and cleaned out everything. We took the paper, the pencil, the school bells, the stampers. We went into the cafeteria, took the big stacks of bologna, the cheese. We took it all and brought it to the house and put it in the loft. Then people knew the school had been hit. We went to school the next morning giving out packs of paper to other kids who didn't have no paper and pencil, and that's how we got busted. So when we went to court, since it was an official burglary charge, and they had such brilliant students that they didn't want to prosecute, the judge said, did you all break into the school? Said, yeah, we did it. They said, why did you do it? Said, we did it because my mama ain't got money to give us paper and pencil, and they got it all in the lounge. Then they start showing us the ethicalness of why we ain't supposed to be doing this and all of that kind of stuff. We wasn't really trying to hear it. But the thing about that is, every time I went to a different grade, every teacher I ever had after that said, Kenneth, do you have paper and pencil? They made sure. They made sure I had paper and pencil. So at that time and before that time, I was drinking. I was already drinking and sniffing glue. Like I said, y'all, the childhood that I had wasn't normal. And I'm going to have to warn some of you all that my story is not a very pretty story. That's why I believe that the big book says that each person tells in his own language and from his own point of view the way he established his relationship with God. And we hope that these self-revealing accounts, people won't find them in bad taste. But when I went to school, I couldn't identify what was going on in school because the books they gave me were see Tom, run. See Dick, do this. See Jane, see Sally, and Officer Friendly. Well, I couldn't identify with that because my house didn't look like Dick and Jane's and Sally's house. You know, my Spot, they had a dog called Spot. I don't know if y'all remember that. Spot's house looked better than mine. I couldn't identify with that. And Officer Friendly, there wasn't no Officer Friendly in my neighborhood. Every time they saw me, they said, nigga, put your hands on the car. That's my story. I got over 100 juvenile arrests. I got 65 felony arrests. I got over 100 felony misdemeanors. I'm a career criminal. So right now, I'm just not committing crimes. I started robbing. When I got out of the juvenile penitentiary for the second time, I was robbing buses and robbing a lot of other things. But I would never rob black folks. I always rob so-called white folks. I would never burglarize a home, no home, but I burglarized every tall building in New Orleans in the name of they didn't give me my 40 acres and my 2 mules. See what I'm That's what I did. So one day around about 2 o'clock in the morning, I was drinking this July 6th, my brother's birthday, 1969. We on Errata and Galvez in the 3rd Ward, Callio Project. My brother said something to me, and I thought I had took all of the bullets out of the gun. I'm 16 years old. And I put that gun to his head, pulled the trigger, bam, and he died in my arms. My record was so bad, the judge didn't know he was my brother because we had different last names. We had different daddies, so to speak. And my family is inundated with that. So when he found out it was my brother and that it was an accident, he told my mom, he said, I'm going to let him out, but I'm going to have to, the only way I'm going to let him out is if you get him out of the state of Louisiana. So my mother had a brother in California, and they sent me to California, and I got out, but I had never seen a psychiatrist, a therapist, or nothing like that. It's not like the way they do it these days. They send in a flood of psychologists and all of that kind of stuff to work with people, kids who go through traumas. So because of that, it's not surprising that 1 year later, I was escorted in chains by federal marshals, and the judge said he didn't want me nowhere in the state of California. When I got in prison in California, and they hooked me up in San Fernando Valley, I started seeing Mexicans. Like y'all have Mexicans running around here. We didn't have them like that in New Orleans. I started seeing Mexicans, man, and I started identifying with Mexicans. They looked something like me. And I found out they did anything I said do. They used to call me Mateo. Yeah. That's what they call me. Mateo. The chachareo. That's what they call me. So I said to them, I kept telling them people, I don't belong here. I need to leave out of here. I'm going to get out of here. Y'all need to get me away from here and get me where I'm supposed to be. And they refused. They refused. So I told the Hispanic people, I said, when we get into the cafeteria, since they serve food with steel trays, I said, when y'all see me stand up and slice this white boy in the head with this tray, y'all do the same thing. And they said, we're going to do it. And they did it. It was a big riot. And the people got on the loudspeaker and said, we ain't going to do none of y'all nothing. All we want is Matthew. Then Mexicans say, y'all not going to get him. They put up a big, big fight. They finally got me. They had AWOL catchers. They call them AWOL. Big. About 4 of them grabbed me. One had a leg, one had an arm, and the Mexican was still fighting them. And they brought me to some kind of solitary confinement. And while I was in that place, a guy named Johnny Walker Reid, that's his real name, he said, hey, New Orleans, read this. And he slipped under the door a Black Panther newspaper. Boy, when I read that Black Panther newspaper, I became politically educated. I started understanding, yeah, they're pigs. That's why they're doing this here. Death to the pig and power to the people. Them people shipped me clean on out of California. And they had a Black Panther news chapter right down the street from my house in Desire Project. And I went straight there, and I joined the Black Panther Party. And my first charge as an adult at 17 years old was attempted murder on police officers in that Black Panther shootout they had in New Orleans. That's the first time I got busted as an adult while I was in jail, in the prison, Paris prison. They were singing songs like, "Ain't no joy like a brown butt boy." That's what they were singing. Yeah. It was a real prison. You understand? So, anyway, I'm not going to stay too long in my history. After I got out of the Black Panther Party, I moved into the Black Muslim movement, where I started listening to Elijah Muhammad. And Elijah Muhammad was saying all white folks is devils. He said it was created by black scientists, one of our gods, on the island of Patmos with 59,999 black men and women. And they extracted the genes out of these black people until it got to the light brown, until it got to the white. And I came up under that teaching. You understand? Look like, I don't know why. Right now, as I look at it, God was moving me from stage to stage. You understand? And they told me, Elijah had taught us that he asked the question, who is the original man? And the answer was that the original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the cream of the planet Earth, and God of the universe. So I started thinking that I was God. Yeah, I'm a direct descendant. And my self-esteem, to some extent, was helped because I was victimized by an identity crisis. See, they call me colored people. They call me Negroes. They call me all kinds of stuff. Black was a word that meant to fight at that time. If y'all hear what I'm saying. Yeah. You couldn't just call a person black unless you was ready to fight or something. Then it came up with African American. All right, now see, I'm suffering from an identity crisis the whole while. Negroes. You know, any person that's in like an English person, you know he's from England. An African, you know he's from Africa. A Frenchman, you know he's from France. A Mongolian is from Mongolia. Where the hell a Negro from? You hear what I'm saying? What connection is that? So I suffered from an identity crisis. By the time thank God I came up out of that. Oh, Lord. And start realizing that there ain't but one race. And that's the human race. And I'm going to tell y'all something, for those of you all who are sensitive. I don't like to use the word white. See this top? What color is it? What color is it? White. If you ever see a white man, run. Because there ain't no such thing. Y'all hear me? So I'm just telling you, I'm telling y'all, my story is not a pretty story. This is my story. And this is what I'm telling. And I'm trying my best not to sugarcoat it. However, I did come up out of that, and I realized that we all are the children of Adam. And there ain't but one race, and that's the human race. Y'all heard me? Y'all heard me? I came up in the rooms, and they told me, here I am, thinking I'm God, the creator. The ones who created the white race. Y'all hear me? The big book told me the first thing we got to do is quit playing God, right? Right or wrong? I come up here trying to create everybody in my own image. I'm telling you. So my situation had progressed. I'm talking about really progressed. It got worse, and it got worse, and it got worse, and it got worse, and it got worse. I remember one time being in prison. They had a table like this and a cup of water. And they had dudes diving head first into that cup of water on the floor in the prison. They would play Toro. They get in front of a steel wall and say, Toro, Toro, and the guy had to do this and charge. And he moved and he got to run into the wall and he kick him. You didn't get it right, go do it again. That's the kind of prison I came up in. Ain't no guards was in there with us. So when the doors opened, some guys would go to the guard, the prison guard, and say, I can't live up there. I'm having trouble. I'm scared. And the guard would ask them, say, do they have any men in there? And he said, yeah. He said, get one. That's the bottom line. Well, my pride would not allow me to get a man. Y'all hear me? But when I came in here, later on, 2004, Christmas Eve, I'd be damned if they didn't tell me the same thing. Get you a man. And this time I got one. Y'all hear me? They call him a sponsor, for those of you all don't understand. And he took me through the 12 steps. And we got a good relationship. He used to comfort me at night, and we still talk. We got a good relationship. I hope y'all understand what I'm telling you. Some people might not have an inkling of an idea of what I'm talking about. I learned how to share my true feelings with another man. My sponsor used to say things like, Kenneth, and I was given a sponsor. I didn't have time to start looking around and trying to choose. When I pick up a desire tip, Tariq grabbed me by my hand and brought me to some dude I ain't never seen in my life and said, this is your sponsor. My pride was broke down, and I just said, all right. For somebody to give me a sponsor, and me to accept it, I hope y'all understand what a crushing blow that was. To me. You know, and for me to admit that I needed help, it was a crushing blow. I'm talking about somebody who's been self-educated all his god doggone natural life. Natural born leader. Everywhere I go at. Never finished 8th grade, but I'm a lawyer in the penitentiary. Y'all hear me? Yeah. I look for loopholes in the law and find mistakes that the lawyer couldn't find. Then I come up in here and find a book that a lawyer wrote. Name Bill. Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my pride had broke down. My sponsor took me through the 12 steps, and he used to say all the time, Kenneth, bottom of page 42. Quite as important was the discovery that spiritual principles would solve all my problems. He be sharing that, right? Quite as important was the discovery that spiritual principles would solve all my problems. I said to myself, what idiot wouldn't want all his problems solved? So let me latch a hold of what the hell you talking about with these spiritual principles. Y'all hear what I'm saying? If spiritual principles would solve all my problems, I personally need to understand exactly what spiritual principles are. They told me that the 12 steps is a group of principles, spiritual in their nature, which, if practiced as a way of life, can expel the obsession and enable the sufferer to become usefully whole. Ain't that what that book said? So I need to know exactly what is this principle you're giving me. And the first one was honesty. That's what they told me. Am I right or wrong? Right. So how is honesty a principle? And how is it connected with the steps? Remember I told y'all I had read the books long time ago? I read in one book that God said, let there be light, and there was light. That's what I read. Y'all hear me? Telling y'all my own story. That means one thing to me. If he said, let there be light, and there was light, and he created the universe, I break down universe and I come up with uni in verse. Uni means one, and verse means word. He spoke the world into existence. And if he spoke the world into existence, that means everything that's in the world must be true because his word is true. And it must be true to itself. Right or wrong? Dogs bark. Cats meow. Fishes swim. Turtles cry. because he's been given free will. So honesty is a law that's running throughout all creation. It's not. I needed to understand exactly what a principle is. So when I come up to believe, I had a problem with coming to believe in step 2. Because in my mind, I already believed. Y'all hear me? I never knew that the word believe was a verb. That means if I'm claiming to believe in something and acting like I don't, action speaks louder than words. Y'all hear me? That my belief is just an empty claim. If I'm not actually living what I'm claiming to believe in, I'm false to myself. Am I right or wrong? So I pick up hope in step 2. That a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. Right thinking when that thought comes to my mind. That's what the hope is. Now I should ask myself the question, how in the hell is hope a principle? How is hope a principle? Let's say you take an acorn. Inside of the acorn is a blueprint and DNA for an oak tree. Right or wrong? An apple seed, inside the seed is a design for an apple tree. If I plant an apple seed in the ground, the orange tree not going to come up. So the hope is already in it to become what it's supposed to be if I put it in the environment that it's supposed to be in. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Did y'all hear what I said? Okay, I'm showing you what happened. I told y'all something about what it was like, but how I had to snatch a hold and grasp these principles, because they told me that I was incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living. If I grasp it mentally and can't develop it, I'm still not getting it. I have to grasp it and develop it. I mean, I have to come into some understanding of what I'm being given in these principles. In other words, I can't transmit what I ain't got. So if I'm going to transmit it, I want to make darn sure I understand what I'm transmitting, so I don't transmit the wrong message. So when I come into faith in step 3, I make a decision. I had a problem with that because I knew what that meant. Turning my will and my life and care over to care. I knew what that represented, and I wasn't about to play with God. If y'all hear what I'm saying? Him, I wasn't about to mess with. Y'all, I didn't give a God darn. You see what I'm saying? But I wasn't about to play with him at all, unless I meant it. So I used one of Moses' tactics. God told Moses, go this way. Moses started bargaining. Won't you send Aaron? I need help with that. So I started saying, God, well, I need help in this area. Won't you send me some help? Because, you're talking about turning my will and life over to care of you. I got issues. All kind of instinct running riot. Understand, I was in a mental facility when I was doing this. 1 week after I made that prayer, Susan came into the facility that I was in, and I no longer had a problem. Y'all hear me? Look, he said in the book, we have the way they said it in the textbook, they said we made a decision to turn our will and our life over to care of God as we understand it. And they asked me a 2-point question. Just what do we mean by that? And just what do we do? So after they finished explaining what they meant, they said on that basis of self-will, I'm always in collision with something or somebody. Right or wrong? For y'all that know this book, I'm always in collision with something or somebody. This faith principle, if I can't grasp it, then I'm not going to get it, because this is the most important step. All of the rest of the program is going to hinge on how well I take a step 3. So I really wanted to know what the heck I was doing. If I'm always in collision and they're going to connect it in that light, I know one thing. This earth is turning. And every time it turns toward the sun, it comes into the light. Every time it turns away from the sun, it goes into darkness. It's a principle. It's a fundamental law. It's been happening like that for billions of years. This earth is traveling through space at over 1,000 miles an hour. And it's traveling with mathematical precision like speed. It's traveling in such correctness that we count our times and seasons according to the way it moves. Right or wrong? It's at the same time it's traveling, it's very heavy. The last weight of the earth that I know of was 6 sextillion tons. And I have not yet heard that disputed. The same time this heavy ball is moving. It ain't got no motor, and it ain't got no steering wheel. And it ain't colliding with nothing. What would happen if the earth was to develop some self-will? And say, I ain't going this way today, I'm heading towards the moon. It's going to be on a collision course and it's going to mess up everything. So since I'm an earthling myself, I'm from dust I am, dust I go back. The same principle that governs the earth also governs me. If I was to put my will into the power that governs this earth, it'll guide my life as smoothly as it governs the earth. Y'all hear me? Yeah. So I need to know what these principles are. Step 4, they told me, well, when I do step 4, I got the faith in order to do step 4. But when I do step 4, they told me, they said, you done now swallowed and digested some big chunks of truth about yourself, right? Now these are about to be cast out. That's exactly the way they say it. I done swallowed and digested some big chunks of truth about me. Now these are about to be cast out. Where's the principle? Where is the principle? Whenever you swallow something and digest it, what's the next thing happens? You defecate, right? You pass it out, right? The word defect come out of the word defecation. The problem with that is, I got some long-standing feces that's hung up in me and been bottled up in me for a long goddamn time. And I got other stuff that's sliding around that stuff. Y'all hear me? So I got a problem. I can't stick my hand up there and pull it out, so I'm going to need a solution. So I get me one of them hot water bottles. And I run that up there. And then I'm going to have to wait. Because it's a process. Then my stomach starts rumbling. And I run to the bathroom. And all of it starts coming out. And the problem with that is, see, I don't want nobody to see how big or how small the turd is. And how much it stinks. So I call him what you call a shitologist. They call him a sponsor. Because he's been dealing with this kind of stuff for a long time. And he said, Kenneth, it ain't the greens messing with you, it's the beans. Y'all heard? See, the process of assimilation, digestion, then elimination, and elimination brings about purification. Right or wrong? So once I get all of that stuff out of me, the big book said, the 5th step, we are delighted. They said we can look the world in the eye because I done got some relief. Right or wrong? Any of y'all ever been constipated? Huh? And had a dump and got relieved? Answer me. Oh, they say he's speaking such harsh language. Well, I ain't thought it yet. You know? What I get from that, once I look at all my defects of character in this chart, what's the next step? Willingness, right? What fool wouldn't want to see his defects removed by flushing the toilet? Right or wrong? I'm trying to show you the principles that's connected with this step and how magnificently they gave it to us. They gave it to us in magnificent form. They told us that the big book was written in masterly detail. The doctor said it gave him a sense of real satisfaction when he was asked to contribute a few words on a subject which is already covered in masterly detail. That's what a person been missing. That's what I had been missing. Detail. Yeah. What does detail mean? So that's how I'm going to understand what they're writing in this book. See, detail means the small elements that make up or compose a magnificent whole. The small elements, those little bitty words that I think I already know, that I don't know, and I ain't never looked them up in the dictionary, I've been missing it. Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Detail is like, let's say my mama had a picture of the Last Supper. And that's the only picture that she wouldn't cuss in front of. When I say the Last Supper, for those who don't know, they got a man eating, they got 12 people with him eating dinner. Y'all got that?
Yeah.
All right. Everybody's been seeing this picture for years, and nobody can tell you what's on the plate. Y'all heard me?
Yeah.
I'm missing the details. Let's say we got a picture in Alcoholics Anonymous of Bill and Bob sitting in a hospital room with another guy sitting on a bed. Y'all ever saw that picture?
Yeah.
How many people take in consciousness the fact that Bill has a book in his hand? And what book is that? And the first thing somebody out was the Bible. Bill was not a Bible thumper. Said it was a big book. Well, the big book wasn't written yet. What book was that? I'm talking about details. There's only one book that the big book mentions by name in the first 164 pages. And it's the Varieties of Religious Experiences by William James. And that's the book that he always carried. Not only that, if you look at the picture, you'll see that Bill and Bob is sitting down, and the man on the bed is sitting higher than them. And Bill and Bob is leaning forward with their heads slightly bowed to the new man. And the new man, the light around the new man is lighter and brighter than the shade that's surrounding Bill and Bob, like Bill and Bob is looking to this new man for their own salvation. Did y'all hear what I said?
Yeah.
Huh? It's the details, the detail that the book is written in that I've been missing. So I want to catch that. So I'm telling you all some of my story, but as a result, what's it like now? What's it like now? What happened to me definitely was 12 steps. But what happened as a result after that? I used to come into this place right here. And for me to see you all sitting in here, it's miraculous. I used to talk in the same room and people get up. I open my mouth and they run out. They see me sitting behind this desk and shit. I ain't going up there with that nigga up there. I'm telling you. They run out. Big book. Yeah, something. You know, they call me all kinds of things. A big book thumper. He's up there thumping the big book. You know, I looked up the word thumping. They called me that so much it made me look the word up. And guess what it means? Called in the dictionary. To make a joyful sound. So I said, some people just don't appreciate good music. I'm telling you. It's a good thing to be a member in good standing in Alcoholics Anonymous. It's a blessing. You know, I get a chance to work with people like Monica. Monica, raise your hand. Carol. Melissa. I get to associate with people like Harry. You know, Susan, a great part of my life. Get to work with people like Mike. I got him listed on my phone as White Mike to make sure that to make sure that whenever he called, I know who called him. I'm answering his phone. Y'all hear what I'm saying? I get a chance to associate with people like myself. One guy, I remember when I had trouble, that looked like him sitting back there. I'm not sure. I remember him in the hood and seeing him in different schooling places where I'm schooling at and stuff like that there. And then I saw him in treatment, 1994. And me and him both used to argue like 90 going west about religion and what God was the right God. Because he had his conception and I had mine. And boy, we used to get in some hot arguments. The dude, man, he looked like he he can lift 500 pounds. This is the way he was looking then. And he get hot. Don't talk to me no more. There he is, sitting right back there. A day and a half later, we at it again. I see, I can't make this nigga too mad. You understand? But we did that, and as soon as we get our treatment, none of us can say so. Y'all hear me? We'll see each other in the hoods again, trying to score and whatever we're doing. And then one night, I'm up on Montrose, across from Croziers, and I see him. Raise your hand up. Yeah. I see him. And I see this dude, and he's sharp, clean, and he had on real gold. Yeah. I know, because I used to sell that other stuff. I know real gold when I see it. I look at him. I said, what happened to you? You understand what I'm saying? I'm telling you. He told me, I've been clean 3 years. I came up with the program, I got a sponsor. He wasn't arguing about religion no more. I looked at him, I said, damn, his God couldn't have won out. I'm telling y'all what happened. You know, and he has been an inspiration to me ever since in this program. You know, you can see some people that's of the hopeless variety, like myself. I was of the seemingly hopeless variety. But when I saw a living example of somebody who I knew couldn't stay clean, treatment after treatment after treatment, I gained hope. Y'all hear what I'm saying? I said, if his God could do it for him. Y'all hear me? I'm still saying, his God. Y'all hear that? That mine, like I'm still sold. But I finally came in. And I've been holding him in high estimation ever since. And he's been sober and he ain't relapsed ever since. They just had a play called Ebenezer Booth. Monica put on one of the greatest, most magnificent plays. Had the Delta Club lot packed. The capacity in the room was sardinish. That means packed together. Y'all hear me? At the story of Ebenezer Booth, Melissa played a hell of a part. She was dressed in flaming red. You know, she was what's the part she played? The enticer. It was an awesome play, and I believe that Monica has made movies on it. Y'all heard me? They had to turn 20 people away from the play. And it was $5 to get in. And it was packed. It was a magnificent play. To get to work with in close proximity with such people is awesome indeed. That's the blessing I get from Alcoholics Anonymous. My phone rings now. Y'all heard me? I was here from 1994 to 2004, that's 10 years, without a cell phone. I didn't have no phone. Who was I going to call? You ready? I was completely alone in this city. I know the meaning of what Bill said when no words can tell of the bitterness and despair, loneliness that he found in that bitter morass of self-pity and loneliness. Y'all heard me? And when he said morass, he wasn't talking about more ass. He was saying morass, an entanglement of something that befuddles me, confuses me. And even if I get out of it, quicksand stretching all around me. I'm in a hopeless position. Y'all hear what I'm saying? He's describing the utmost powerlessness, the despair he found. I know what loneliness is. I used to feed a bird. And every time I feed this bird, I see the bird with a mate. I said, damn, God, you gave the bird a mate. What about me? Y'all hear me? I know about the loneliness. So when my phone rings now, I answer it. And let me clean up something. For some of you all who just might not understand. If a tobacco-spitting Ku Klux Klansman, and that's the worst kind, said, if tobacco-spitting Ku Klux Klansman was to come into Alcoholics Anonymous and say, Kenneth, I don't believe in God. Because if there was a God, he would have never created such a thing as a nigger. I tell him, keep coming back. Y'all heard me?
Yeah.
Did y'all hear me? They had a guy sitting with that brother sitting there with the hood on. It's years ago, 4 or 5 years back, maybe 6. He was sitting in that chair every day for 2 weeks, and he would not share. He was Caucasian. That means of the light of persuasion. He sit back there and would never share. And one day I was leaving out the meeting, I was going to smoke a cigarette, and that guy said, Kenny, could I speak to you for a minute? I said, yeah. I sit down. I said, what's up? He said, I'm a Klansman. My daddy was a Klansman, and my grandfather was a Klansman. I got a problem with niggas. He said, but I've been listening to you for 2 weeks. He said, I think you can take me through these steps. He said, would you take me through these steps? I told him, that's like asking me if I want to breathe. Y'all heard me? I took him through the steps. He was a lawyer, and he recovered. Y'all heard me? Yeah, because some people will walk out of here and say, that's the most prejudiced nigga I ever heard. Oh, yeah. And that's my wife right there. Stand up. Stand up. Yeah. You know, sometimes I have to clean up what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Because people will walk out here. I remember I told my story about, what was it? Spring Branch. Boy, it was the majority, it was Lily. When I said Lily, y'all know what I'm talking about? I was almost like a fly in a bowl of milk. Y'all heard? And I went to tell him my story. My sponsor told me at the end of the story, he said, if them people didn't see Susan with you, they might have been waiting outside for you. I'm telling you. So after I became willing, that God removed from me all these defects of character. Step 7. Step 7 says, we became willing, how I put it? We humbly asked him to remove our, what did he say, Rob? Our shortcomings, yes. We humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. Now, once I say that prayer, because there's a 7-step prayer that's coming, and if y'all notice, Step 6, Step 7, Step 8, and Step 9 are all on one page. So that's telling me I don't take a long time getting through it. Y'all heard me? If I'm following the book it said, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed whose path? Not my sponsor's path, our path. So if I follow that path, and I grasp those principles that they grasp and incorporate those principles, something must happen. I can't take the steps and not change. Y'all heard me? Because once I take them, I incorporate them into myself. And the result comes automatically with no thought or effort on my part. Am I right or wrong? Now I can skip through them and then claim that I went through them and wonder why I went out. Y'all heard me? But if I take these steps and incorporate them and practice these principles don't lie. Y'all heard me? Principles are fundamental truths. Am I right or wrong? They're going to work for me or they're going to work against me. So when I say with my mouth, because that's exactly what they're telling me. When ready, we say something like this, meaning I'm just talking. Because after that, they're going to say, now it's time for more action, without which we find that faith without works is dead. Right or wrong? Right. That means this, that if I really want God to remove my defects of character, I'm going to realize that my defects in my character have caused harm to other people. Right? So I'm going to have to go back through my life and make all that right. Right? Then my defects are removed because I'm working on removing them. I'm putting action with my prayer. Y'all heard me? They even told me that faith without works is dead. And when you really look at this program, which is the 12 steps, if you really look at the 12 steps, it's showing you that faith without works is dead. The third step is a faith step. And after 3 comes action in 4. The 7th step is a faith step. It's a prayer step. And after 7 comes action with 8. Am I right or wrong? Right. The 11th step is a prayer step. After that comes action. They're showing me faith without works is dead. That's why I'm telling you that this was written in masterly detail. So that anybody, I wouldn't care if he was a sexaholic. If he practiced these 12 steps, he's going to get a spiritual awakening. He can be a gambling a gambling aholic. How do you say that? Gambling aholic? Whatever it is. He can have a sex problem. Sexaholic. He can be if he practices these steps because they're principles, they will work. Now when I get to that 9th step, I ain't going to go through all of it because I don't have much time. Every time I stand before people, the clock starts moving like that. You know, it just starts moving. It won't stay still. I'm going to tell y'all about the 12th step and the principle. Y'all remember what they said the principle is in the 12th step? What is it?
Service.
For those of you who know, what is it?
Service.
That's what I'm talking about. Service. How is service a principle? See, when I'm working with somebody, and I'm telling them I'm giving them principles, I need to know what I'm giving them. If they ask me, I can't come out of my head. I have to give them the principle and the meaning of it. So I'm going to share it with you. A long time ago, and sometimes quite recently, I myself have urinated on the ground. Y'all heard me? Like I said, y'all look like good people. Most of y'all probably have never done such a thing. However, when I went back 15 minutes later, whatever, I realized that this piss had gone. Something happened to it. The sun's rays evaporated. The same way it does with all water. Dew, rain, rivers, lakes, it evaporated. In other words, y'all, there ain't no new water on this planet. The same water that's here now has been here for billions and billions of years. But when it dries this piss up, urination, it draws it up. And I can't see the mist that it is because it's imperceptible, meaning unseen by my eyes. And it gets it up so high, and it purifies it, right? Then it formulates it into clouds. Right or wrong? I'm talking about eternal principles. And them clouds go to a land that's dead and rain that urination, that rainwater back down. And people drink it. Right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? Problem with that is, problem with that is some clouds will get puffed up, and I said they get puffed up with pride and won't want to rain down their water. And some in lightning bust their ass up. You coming down one way or another. Service work is a principle. It's called regulation. The steps are regulated, just like numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then 0, and I repeat the process. Did y'all hear me? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0, and I repeat the process. The numbers get greater in quantity as the 10th step tells me go back and continue repeating the process. The numbers get greater in quantity, and my life gets greater in quality. Y'all heard me? Go ahead. Y'all heard me? After they say I'm going to know a new freedom and a new happiness, right or not? Right or wrong? That's what they told me. So just like a woman that got a baby, generally speaking, a baby's born at 9 months. Remember, we made a decision to turn in step 3, right? Well, before that baby comes out, it makes a complete turn. and then it come out, right? And the woman knows, the baby knows a new freedom, and the woman knows a new happiness. Am I right or wrong? Thank you all for letting me share with you.
My name is Robert. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Rob.
I don't know what's next is.
Appreciate you.
Did everybody get a ticket? Is there something
Great.
wrong with these tickets?
Appreciate you, bro. Big time. You know I appreciate you. Big time. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Big time.
God bless you, man.
Thank you.
Have a Merry Christmas.
I'm proud to have you first, Lord.
Thank God.
All right. Why you a front runner?